Most of our transactions and our phone calls and interactions with consumers are missing a big piece of the puzzle. What we're doing in the mortgage industry mainly these days is dumping benefits, right? Or dumping features. Right? A feature dump looks like this. Well, we could lower your interest rate, or we could potentially give you cash, or we could do X, Y, Z. We could lower your term. That's a feature dump, right? I've heard other people where they do kind of a benefit dump. Well, we could save you money. That's a benefit, right? We could give you $20,000 in cash, right? We could consolidate your credit cards and save you some money, right? Those are kind of benefits. The big piece that people are missing is that they're not identifying people's problems and creating a solution. If you want to really be influential on your consumers and to bring high value to that relationship with the consumer, then what you need to do is you need to dig in as a professional, find the problems that they either know they have that they're kind of ignoring, because that's kind of human nature, or identifying problems that they don't even know that they have yet, right? So I'll give you an example. A lot of people have, let's say, $15,000 in credit card debt, right? And they look at that and they pay that payment every month, and yeah, it's not fun to make that payment, but they do it, right? But I'm gonna bet you that not one of those people bought one thing for $15,000. I'm gonna bet you that they didn't buy two things for $7,500. I will even bet you that they didn't buy 15 separate things for $1,000 each, right? And if you think about that, really what they have is they have a negative cash flow situation, right? So, you know, they had a vacation planned, they bought their plane ticket on it with the intention of paying that plane ticket off at the end of the month, but what happened? They went on vacation, they spent too much money on vacation, and that kind of lingered, so they made the minimum payment. You know, they went out to lunch with a friend, they picked up lunch. They had a birthday to go to, so they bought a present on it. And before you know it, they have $15,000 in credit card debt. And to give you an idea what that is, that negative cash flow isn't a big deal in the grand scheme of things to that consumer, because they're not thinking about it. But if you give them this analogy, it's like having a bucket, right? And you have a little tiny hole in the bucket that water comes out, right? Over time, right, that water becomes pretty big and it's a problem. So over a long period of time, that hole in your bucket, although it doesn't seem very big, is a problem. And if you understand that, and you know that, and you can talk these people through that process and get them to understand that this is a problem. What would life look like? Let's say this is $15,000 in credit card debt. What would life look like if this was gone? If this was now zero, right? And not just that, what would life look like and feel like if you had $15,000 in the bank, right? So that next time you need to buy a plane ticket, or next time you need to do something, you have an emergency, your hot water heater goes up, that you have this slush fund to draw from where you don't have to use high interest credit card debt that's going to keep you in debt for a very, very long time. It's really important to do this. Identify, discuss, and solve. IDS. Right? So identify their potential problems, discuss them, tie them to an emotion. We like to believe that we do things with our logical brain, but really most of our decisions are made on an emotional basis. If you understand that, then you got to identify what the problem is, discuss it, right? And by discussing it, tie it to an emotion. What does that feel like to make that payment to that credit card every month? That hurts, right? To see that you made a minimum payment and the balance really didn't go down, right? And you know that $15,000 wasn't $15,000 on day one. That $15,000 started out as $300, as $500, as $1,200, and has grown to $15,000 over time, right? Most of the time we kind of ignore that as consumers, but we need to tie that to an emotion, right? That does not feel good. It does not feel good to make that payment on a monthly basis. It does not feel good to have that amount of debt hanging over your head. And to understand that, right, discuss it with them, talk about how that feels, how it would feel to not have that debt. How would it feel to have the freedom to not have to use your credit card? right? I can't imagine there's a consumer out there that wouldn't like to have enough cash in the bank so they never had to use their credit card. Or if they did use their credit card for anything, there are people out there that have enough money, they use their credit card and they pay it off every month just to get the points, right? How would that feel to be one of those people, right? And then help solve their problem. You have the solutions in your toolbox to help solve many of these consumers' problems. It's that you're not getting to this identification and discussion. You're too busy talking about what the features are of a mortgage, what potential benefits are, and not really identifying their particular issues and discussing them and solving them.